Hi everyone, it's Elizabeth. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you are well. It's time for another Friday flip. So what I'm going to do today is a quick flip on my composition notebooks that I use in my morning pages. This is again something that I don't tend to flip because a lot of the information in here is, morning pages, kind of private, personal. So I tend not to share these, but these are the journals that I've used for the past couple of years. So this is 2016 in January, and I've got about 12. And I'm wrapping up the 12th one in this series. So, and I have stacks of these, right? So the nice thing about these is they're simple, they're easy to get, they cost 89 cents a piece. They become much more valuable than that once they're filled. But it's kind of nice to just have something that's cheap and not precious as a way to just be a repository for my brain dumps every morning. So what I wanted to do, these ones right here are sitting on a bookshelf in my study. And at some point, once I've archived everything that I need to archive from here into Evernote, they'll basically get moved into this bin that I have. I've got one of these plastic storage containers that houses all my journals. And someone had asked me about that earlier, and that's what I do with my filled journals. For the most part, once a certain amount of years have gone by, or if I don't think I'm going to need to look at them, in the short term, and things that I need to archive from them have already been archived, that's what I do with these. I stack them in this plastic storage container, and they stay nice and dry until I need them. So what's happening today, let me just get these out of the way. What's happening today is I am switching out of this composition notebook, which is my volume 5 of 2019 and the first volume of 2020. And let me just move this out of the way. And what I'm doing is, as I'm switching out from this one to the new volume, I figured a perfect time to do kind of a 30,000 foot flip, because once this gets filled, I can't share anything, right? So I figured before I start working in this, and I'll probably start working in this in the next day or two, might as well kind of show you what it looks like and how I'm going to be doing something a little differently in this journal as well. So again, these are the 5x5 ruled composition notebooks. They have 200 pages. I go through and I number all the odd pages just so I have an easy way to do my index. The front page tends to be the index, and what I do is I break it out by month, and then any specific thing in that month that I want to have easy access to goes in there as well. Okay, my one little word for the year for 2020 is ask, so that goes onto every index page of my composition notebooks. These are journals I touch every single day. I go through and look at this or use it every single morning. So the one thing that I am doing differently in this journal going forward is I'm going to also be doing this 5-minute journal format. Now, I think it's Ryan Holiday. I'm trying to think of who actually came up with this. Anyway, if you take a look on YouTube for the 5-minute journal, you can take a look and see there's a book that the producers, actually it's not him, it's two guys who basically have a journal that you can buy that is printed with this particular format. And as you know, I tend to be a DIY kind of person, so I always try something out before I decide if or not it's going to work for me, and if in fact it's something that I want to buy. Now, one of my reluctances in doing this 5-minute journal in a different journal is I don't want to have to carry another notebook with me. Right? So that's kind of where my head's at the moment. Things can change. So what's the 5-minute journal format? Let me see if I can bring this up closer. So it's very, very simple. It's the date. It's 3 things you're grateful for. It's 3 things about what would make today great. It's a daily affirmation. And then the second half, or the bottom half of the journal, is about a retrospective of the day. So 3 amazing things that happened today, and what could I have done today? What could I have done to make today better? Now, I have already started using some of this format in my old April journal. Now, the gratitude I keep in my morning pages anyway, so I do those automatically, but I kind of like this idea, right? So the recap of great things that happened the day before, I tend to do my morning pages anyway, but I don't necessarily think at the start of the day, what would make today great? And at the end of the day, how could I have made today better? So those 2 things are specific prompts I'm incorporating into my journal and into my morning pages so that I have access to that prompt to remind me to do these things daily, right? So the way my morning pages journals, these composition books get set up looks exactly like this. There's nothing fancy. I go ahead and number them. I create an index. And I divide the first page in 2. I very rarely need more than 1 page. If I need one, I can always add a piece of paper to this side and just continue the index. And what I have done with this journal to get it set up for the month, to continue the month of April, is I have broken out these columns of 5-minute journals, the format. So I've got about 20 days set up to start. And then my regular morning pages will start here. And the way I start morning pages is I just date it and then I start. And morning pages typically are 3 pages of handwritten notes. I average somewhere around 2.5 to 3, some days more, some days less. Now, if you have followed along with my channel, you know that I tried the weeks format for memory/record keeping for a couple of years and then decided I got sick of drawing all of it out and bought the Traveler's Notebook, a Traveler's Factory Weeks insert that I'm using. That might happen here, but I am thinking that more likely what's going to happen is that if this format works for me and it's something that I do consistently and I see value. So one of the reasons I want it all together, like bunched up like this, is it's very easy to look and see the last 4 days. How did I do? Did I actually do some of the things that I had thought would make it a good day? Did I follow up on things that I made a note of that I could have done to have made the day better? It gives it, it makes it easily accessible, right? So even though I do some of that already here, it's kind of hard. You have to go back and flip through pages to get that information when I'm looking for it. So chances are, as I said, that I doubt I'm going to go with a new journal or a different journal if this whole process works. I will probably end up printing out PDFs. So online you can find PDFs of this, and maybe that's what I'll do in some format. Either add the PDFs into my morning pages, kind of attach it to the end, or maybe create a TN insert that I keep with my weeks. I don't know, but getting ahead of myself there. So just wanted to show that I am now transitioning into a new composition book for my morning pages. And people have always asked me, what do you do in these? And like I said, it's just notes, right? A lot of it is just kind of stuff that there's nothing here. There's very little, actually there's almost no decoration. It's just literally me writing stuff out of my head. So I figured perfect time to show you what this looks like before I start. And I got a stash of these notebooks. Like I said, they're 89 cents in the US. They're incredibly inexpensive and you can get them everywhere. I happen to prefer the graphed format. So that's what I have for you today. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know down below. If you keep composition notebooks, and specifically if you happen to be a person who keeps the 5-minute journal and have kept it for a while, either in the official notebook or in a notebook of your own choosing, I would be really curious to hear what your thoughts were on that whole process. So thanks again for watching. I hope you